Good morning. Welcome to Blood Moon Oracle. Welcome back. I have to take a couple of days off. Lots of festivities, parties, all that kind of stuff that drew my attention for a moment, but I am back. Take a look at the previous videos at the beginning of this week. I did do a couple, I think Monday and Tuesday. For the encouragement of the week, but today is Friday, so let's take a look and see what Spirit is encouraging us about today. Make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe if you have not. Welcome. We are quickly heading into the new year, and so perfect time for planning and wrapping things up. If you celebrate the new year at the beginning of the Gregorian calendar, however, if you actually have more of a spiritual outlook on the new year where you don't start it until around spring, right? Definitely the time to start planning for your new year. Either way, it's time, okay? Also, I feel like Spirit has been talking to me this morning about not getting in the way. Not getting in the way. And when I say getting in the way, I mean not allowing our shadows to overcome us, many times, or to stop us, right? Not allowing it to overcome or stop us. The shadow aspect of who we are is really many times hidden because we have been taught to believe that there shouldn't be any type of negativity or darkness, right? And so we hide that aspect. We don't want to really address or face that part of who we are, but really it represents many times our greatest fear, and the dark aspect of our feminine, right? Our feminine energy. And so this is also, though, the greatest gifts that we have. Many times it's tapped into that particular aspect of who we are as well. That's why it's so important to address it, because there's so much hidden in there, right? Think of an oyster. Spirit is bringing to my mind an oyster and the pearl that's hidden in the dark, and there's a irritant or a parasite that gets into the pearl and starts to try to manipulate the pearl. Well, the pearl has the ability to protect itself. And in that protection, there is this co-creation that happens, right, with the parasite, in a way where both of them, the parasite and the pearl, get to coexist together in this world where there is definitely purpose for both of them, right? Otherwise, they would both be destroyed, right? And so there's this commingling that happens in the shell, in the oyster. And through that, through the cooperation of these two aspects of the pearl, of the oyster, the pearl is born, right? The most beautiful gift lies in the shadows, is what Spirit is saying here. This is very tactile, primal, innate, very grounded energy. And so I feel like Spirit is talking about not, allowing the energy to come in during this season that may be very present for some of us right now. Distractions, addictions, cravings, unhealthy habits. And it's very understandable because we're in a time right now where emotions are high. Around the holidays, at the end of the year, the emotions are really high. A lot of disappointments may have the opportunity to come in. And so this is a time where we need to be careful of those negative parts, that they don't come in and sabotage the good things that's coming in for us, like jealousy, anger, unforgiveness, resentment, inner procrastination, toxic relationship choices, And so this is a time the Spirit is reminding and beckoning us to have, first of all, have compassion on ourselves. And then secondly, to choose devotion to whatever it is, the pathway that's set before us. Choose ways of devotion that's going to lead us to inspired action, inspired thoughts, right? Gravitate towards those things and those kinds of people as well, is what I was hearing Spirit say before I even pulled any cards this morning. But I did pull a few cards. I'm tapping into my African Goddess Rising Oracle book from Abiola Abrams. And the energies that are coming out are very interesting. I have rage, level up, and pleasure coming out with Medusa, Queen Ya Ase, Asantewa, and Tanit. And so today, Spirit is talking to us about rage. And we kind of just talked about that a little bit, about not allowing it. It's definitely, the shadow aspect of who we are, but we don't have to allow it to control us. We don't have to allow it to, have a deciding factor on how we decide to handle things or react to things, right? There are many things that happen in life that place us in a position of being justified with our rage, right? It's part of being human. When someone's child gets, gunned down in the street, that is absolutely a situation for justified anger. When someone, steps into a situation and breaks up a family, definitely a situation where there is justified anger and rage to be felt. With these types of things, they happen. Now, the other part of that is, again, in the shadows lie many times some of the most beautiful, most powerful gifts that we've been given. And so with that rage, instead of allowing it to send us on a rampage of, destruction, causing others to feel like we felt, instead of allowing that pain to turn you into something that you are not, right? It's taking that rage and actually transmuting it into something more purposeful. Out of rage many times comes many beautiful things like books, transmuting that into your story. That would be very beneficial and enlightening when others read it. Or turning it into a piece of music that actually allows you to express that and translate those emotions and experiences over to someone else through that art form, painting. Some would even go so far as to create movements that would change policies and laws and perspectives, right? So there's always a greater purpose behind that. And it's not allowing ourselves to be overcome by these shadow aspects of who we are. That may be something that someone's dealing with today. Spirit is saying, yes, you are by all means, entitled, you are more than justified in how you feel, whatever that is. Now, to acknowledge that and take that and turn that into something that's going to be even more purposeful is really the energy that Spirit is talking about today. Doing something with that. Spirit is saying, don't just allow it to fester in you and destroy you and to become this destroying force that for everything that you come into contact with, but actually transmute that energy and do something with that sacred rage that inspires, right? And so this is not just you experiencing this, but this is you actually taking a look at the greater purpose and possibly even asking, Spirit, show me why I've experienced this and how I can turn this into inspiration for my life. What am I supposed to do with this? It's okay to ask questions. It is absolutely okay to ask questions. Because the next energy coming in is Queen Ya Asantewa, which is, she's talking about leveling up. Leveling up. And so I can't help but apply that to this energy of rage. Like many times we would go through difficulties, but that is the very thing that actually causes us to rise. It causes us to rise. Some of my greatest challenges in life, had I not went through those challenges, I probably would not be where I am today. I most definitely would not. But it was through that pressure, through that challenge, through that difficulty, through that pain and that anger that I rose up to the occasion. Yeah, because this is not just any experience. Like this is an experience meant for the energies that would actually have a very high level of expectation, a high level of purpose, because Queen Ya Asantewa is from the Temple of Queens, right? And so we're talking about this very goddess or God-like energy. These are historic rulers that we're talking about, people that had a very high place in society, in the stream of their timeline. And these are very insightful energies, energies that are tapped in not only with divine, but with everything around us. A very strong intuitive energy, very strong third eye energy. And it's high level a high level of expectation comes with that energy as well. Again, this is from that same energy as the shadows, that bush energy. It's very tactile, innate energy, and it's almost like being brought for this specific purpose. There may be something that you were appointed to do. And it was through that difficulty, through that hardship, that you were actually brought to the place to where you would be inspired to do it. Again, as I was saying, sometimes it's through great pain that we are brought through to these places. Otherwise, we might end up being a little bit too comfortable to even care, or to even see someone else's perspective. It's very interesting. It's very purposeful how it's coming together. how these things come to be. And so Queen Ya Asantewa is talking about that energy, right? Talking about raising up a standard and taking a cause under your belt, taking up a cause. And this is someone that has power to raise the frequency of a whole community or even a whole planet. You've been given this position, this authority, this influence. And Spirit is saying, yeah, that thing was very purposeful, right? And let me help you understand that it was not just to hurt you. It wasn't just to harm you, but it was to prime you for your calling. We're actually in a season of quantum leaping where we are actually being prepared for this. We have already been prepared for this. And it's understanding that life is not linear. And growth is not linear either. Right? Listen, contrary to popular belief, right? When we talk about quantum leaping, right? It's big movement. It's huge movement. And it happens not overnight, but just little by little, little by little. And next thing you know, it's like, wow, what is this? But Spirit is saying here today that there's something that inspires you. And that thing helps others. And so you're being called even in this, when we talk about leveling up, lifting up the standard, lifting up this idea about what it is that you've been called to do, even who you are, connecting with Spirit in that standard, like committing to the cause, committing to something greater than yourself. This may be the start of it for some of you. Some of you may already know what this is, and this may be just tapping in, confirming and reminding again. And so this is connecting with Spirit, right? Through however you do that. It could be rituals, it could be movement, it could be meditation, it could be prayer, it could be visualization. But the timing, divine timing, is now, and it's on your side. It's on purpose. Everything has happened on purpose, is what Spirit is saying. Yeah. Because this is about you fulfilling your mission. As I'm looking at this picture, there's what is called a stool. And this stool actually is it's almost like an appointed seat. And it's sitting there, and it's almost like there is a place that you have always been meant to walk in, to step in, right? And it's always interesting as I look at things like purpose and appointment and words like calling. There's this idea around having a predestined election for life. And it doesn't matter. Some people reach it very early in life. Some people don't reach it until they're in the mid parts of their life. Some people don't reach it until they're in the end of their lives. It doesn't matter. As long as you make it to your seat, Spirit is saying. As long as you make it to your seat. And this is the seat of what is known here. It's called the war, or not the war, but it's called the golden stool, right? Queen Ya Asantewa actually was very momentum. She actually was very purposeful in the momentum of a war that was called the War of the Golden Stool. This was her empire. This held what we call the Regent's Craw, the life force energy. We have many names for that idea of this movement of energy through our lives, through our bodies, through existence, life force energy, right? So it's the idea of that this very purpose, this very predestined thing that's been placed on us, this expectation from spirit, from God. And then we have Tanit coming in, very different energy than the others. She's coming in with air energy and from the Temple of Conjurers. Now, when we talk about air, we're talking about intention, intelligence, connectivity, and being underestimated many times. Many times it's being underestimated. And when we talk about the Temple of Conjurers, we're talking about magicians, those that wield power through creation and transmutation, right? As I was saying, transmuting that pain. And usually these are those with a frequency. When it comes to energetic frequency, it's like from the sacral chakra. Yeah, sacral chakra energy. So it's very, when we think of things like she's bringing in the energy of pleasure, but it's not in the sense that we're thinking. When we think of pleasure, we've been trained. We have been kind of conditioned to think of that word as being sexual, as being very indulging, right? That is actually a very negative word in many ways because of how we've been made to think of it. But Spirit is bringing this up for a different reason, because out of this part of our energy system comes the greatest part of our creative power. And when we talk about this transmuting of pain into power, transmuting of pain into purpose, and then wielding that power, we're talking about utilizing the sacral chakra. Yeah. And understanding the importance of being connected to this part of our being. Now, this was the trick here, because we've been taught to really look at this as something negative, especially if we come from certain religious backgrounds, right? We're taught to shun that, not to talk about it, to shove it under the rug, but it's actually more than that. It's more than what we've made it to be. It's more than this very fleshly desire. When we say the word pleasure, we're talking about a desire, a thirst for life, for creativity, a thirst to laugh, a thirst to feel the very essence of the stars. Not just the dirt, but a thirst to be thrust up into this very energy of life. And it's our birthright. We were born to experience that. It was a gift from God, from the universe, from our Creator. And it's a question of understanding the power of that energy that we hold. Not only is it considered this word that we've made dirty, pleasure, but it's also about healing. It's about creative energy flowing up through our body to create and stimulate healing right there from within us. Right? So no, we don't have to take pills if we don't want to. We don't have to take a medicine, take a Tylenol every time we get a headache. We can actually stimulate energies from within our bodies to heal whatever is not balanced within us, right? If we understand the power that we hold over our own bodies, right? But this is about stirring up that energy of pleasure, that sacral energy, right? For the purpose of healing and manifesting, right? And transmuting, right? And what does that look like? When those energies are free flowing within us, laughter is unrestrained. You ever just had a big belly laugh, just ha 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 ha, and just let yourself just laugh yourself silly to your stomach hurt, right? It looks like loving people, not holding yourself back from loving, right? And it's even understanding that orgasmic joy, right? Another word that's been taken out of really the purpose or the context of the meaning and made to be something to be shunned, but it's actually an orgasmic joy. That means something that's bursting free. And it's holy. I'm going to use that word, right? And so it's understanding that we deserve to feel all that life has to give in all of its beauty, and not allowing society to actually dictate what that's supposed to be, because it's so much more than what we are told it is and what we are said we're supposed to experience. That it's so much more than that. Just like when we look at these words, it's not just isolated to sex, but there's so much more going on there coming from our sacral chakras. And so this is about you understanding the power that lies within you to create. To create. There's so many aspects of that within our energy system, but this is talking about turning that passion, right? Which is really similar to the energy of rage. We don't understand how much those energies are alike. When we burst out into fits of passion or passions of anger, fits of anger, that's really passion being unleashed. It's really similarly aligned. It's the same energy as pleasure. Just on a different, if we look at it in terms of notes, it's being played on the same chord, just a different note. Or same note, different chord. I'm confusing myself. But it's really the same. It's one and the same. Both of them are purposeful. But the thing is, how are we going to use it? That's the question. So I'm just going to pull a couple of cards here today. I don't know who Spirit is talking to today. The Spirit is talking. Spirit is talking. And so I almost hear Spirit saying, do you know? Do you know who you are? That's a very strange question being posed in today's society, because I know. I have my degree. I have my BA in religious studies, and worship arts. I can, do this, and I'm good at that. I've always been able to, do a certain thing really well. But do you know who you are? Apart from who the world has told you are, apart from the system of the world. When you go into the deepest parts of yourself, yes, the shadow parts as well, all of those parts of you actually are so authentic to that question. And it's asking the question, do you know? Have you allowed yourself to go there and analyze that question? I just hear right now, my hearing has stifled right now, and I don't know what's happening here. The air just got very dense. But let's get some tarot cards. Go inside is what Spirit is saying. Three of Wands, Six of Pentacles. It's time to find out. It's time to acknowledge. It's time to go after what that is. So the Three of Wands came out on the light side. And it's basically saying, Three of Wands, the time is right. The time is now. This is the divine time for any sort of challenge that you might be experiencing. For all kinds of journeys that could be possible right now, or actions that would involve your talents, right? And initiative, courage, your inner strength, right? All of those things. This is the time to foster those things. And those are the things that will lead you forward right now. Again, this is about committing to something higher than you, but that resonates from within you, right? This is a time to commit to yourself. And if for some reason we're not able to catch hold of the energy that's ripe right now, excuse me, then we miss out, or we get less than what it is that we actually deserve, is what Spirit is saying. The Three of Wands is all about expansion. And it's saying that this is the divine time for the expansion, for that level up. Okay, divine time to lift up standards, right? To a higher level. And so Spirit is again saying with the tarot, the energy is right. It's right. And then we have the Six of Pentacles coming in on the shadow side. And so this talks about miscalculating. And because of that, there could possibly be, if there is a miscalculation, a loss when it comes to the work that's been put in. Or possibly not receiving, like I was saying with the Three of Wands, if we don't move in the divine time, then there may in fact be a loss. That loss could be maybe the opportunity of capitalizing on an investment that would be right now. It's almost like that energy, right? Miscalculation, not getting the interest on your investment, or not being able to take your business to another level, a different direction. Not being able to grow in your capacity. Or this could just be saying, okay, this may in fact end up being a situation, if we're not able to capitalize on the moment, to sow better next time. Understand the ramification of movement when the time is right. And if we miss it, it's like, dang it, I missed it. Okay, I'm going to catch it next time. I learned it. I learned what's happening. Now that I know, I'm going to catch it next time. But Spirit is saying, even if it's not right now, you will reap the rewards eventually. Okay? Even if it's not right now, you will. And lastly, we have the Eight of Wands. I love all of this energy coming out. The Eight of Wands coming in on the light side. And the Eight of Wands is really about movement, fast movement in all areas of life, right? When you move, Spirit is saying it will be greatly favored, like whatever you choose to do. If you move in this intention that we're speaking of today, in this understanding, everything that you do, it doesn't have a choice but to be favored, not to be scared by the quickness that you might see things manifesting or happening or being pushed into the future, not to be afraid of that. But understand that this is like a benevolent power that's guiding you. This is actually a bit of grace that's coming in around you. And Spirit is saying it's yours. Even in fact, it's yours to be exploited to the fullest, is what Spirit is saying. But it's the important thing to understand is that you have to move. You have to make choices. You have to take action. And that may, in fact, be inconvenient for others. But this is about you. Okay? Any last guidance for my viewers today? Let's get one card to end. Yeah, Seven of Pentacles. How can you get a return unless you invest? How can you get an outcome unless you act? This is all about movement. Spirit is saying, do it, and then watch and see if this isn't true, right? We're in the energy right now, and we're being called to a higher standard so that we can receive more. Ooh, this is a word for me. I receive this. So that we can receive more out of this, okay? Not only receive more, but also give more. This is really about purpose. In the highest level, and understanding how everything is interconnected. There's nothing that's not connected with this message. Spirit is saying everything is interconnected. Nothing just happens by chance. There's no coincidences, right? No, not in this case. Okay? And when it's all said and done, we're being called to act, to level up, to move on our premonitions, on our nudges, on what we know to be true. This is a time of expansion, no doubt. We're actually in Mars retrograde, which has actually, for me, looked very positive. Usually we're a little bit afraid of retrogrades because they tend to be negatively aspected, but this retrograde is actually really positive, and it's the energy of this it's charged with fruition. But the thing about that is you have to take advantage of the energy. You have to move in this energy in order to actually benefit from it. And you have to understand how to move too, okay? And so that's the message today. If you have more questions, more clarity, this was a general reading. If you'd like a personal reading, reach out to me by email. It will be down in the description, or you can just go straight over to my calendar and schedule a session, okay? Blood Moon Oracle, take care, like, share, comment. That's the encouragement of the day. Bye. Also, let me know how the sound is today. I've been just trying to find the right mics. I just haven't had a chance to find something compatible with my devices, but I'm still on the lookout. But let me know how the sound sounds as well. I'm going to place a video up here. Maybe you'll like that one as much as you like this one. So take a look at that one as well. All right, I'll talk to you all next time.